Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's section of reads. This should be on the YouTube channel James13 Wicca, in case you're seeing it somewhere else. The dice and decks I'm using are going to be listed below. Other than that, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Hello, Cancer. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Cancer? A lot of good things. We like that. It just keeps coming. Okay. I feel like we're already centering on your happiness. You. Okay, so I see Cancer, when Cancer cares about people, and they're in your circle, you can give a lot. I feel like you people give a lot. You people? You people. I'm a Pisces, I'm not a Cancer, but still. You give a lot. You really do. I do feel like people are either in or out with Cancer too, so if I'm wrong, but that's kind of what I'm getting here. You've been putting in a lot of time. A lot of time. Helping the overall situation work out. I feel like it's been very hard. I feel like when I keep feeling this energy, I feel like when I look at it on paper, it probably doesn't look that bad, but emotionally, I do feel like it's been very difficult, very, very stressful. And people might not know how much this situation has been stressing you out, but you're very invested in the success. You're a very strong piece of this situation, and whatever needs to be done, that's what you're going to do. And that's how you've been handling it. Whatever this situation is, I feel like it's been difficult. It's been very difficult. It looks, on the outside, it looks fine. Emotionally, I feel like, yeah, but I don't like a lot what's going on here. But you've been succeeding. The grace is telling me I haven't been talking about things that I know are just going to make the situation worse. I'm not going to bring forward stuff that like people are just going to be upset with me about. Some of this I just have to process on my own. Whether that's fair or not, I don't know, it's a general read. But I've been very careful about what I've said. In fact, in some situations you maybe have put some distance between you and certain people. That way things don't get itchy scratchy. You're doing really good. But the thing is, even though you're doing really good, I feel like partly I feel like I'm on the outside. Partly. And I'd like to make more decisions for the situation, but I'm not really in a place where I'm allowed to do that. So this is more about your happiness. Okay. This is about how does this add in for you in a more positive way. Where can you take this where it could possibly be not only received better, but you could have more of a connection to where you feel more on the in. Because I don't think we have to be this far out, because it does feel like we're on the out a little bit. Sorry. I don't know if you heard that, but Anyway. The tablet wanted to make some sounds. I don't know if it picks up on the recording though. Possibility, you were doing really good with this. Whatever this is, you're very helpful. You've helped a lot. Without you, people would have struggled. Some of them don't have any idea how they would have done what they did, but they definitely would have struggled without you. You pushed through. I feel like whenever you were helping somebody, it's kind of like I'd like to be more on the end, but I didn't bring that forward. I just showed up to do what I needed to do, and everything is okay. I'm moving forward as I need to. You're bringing a lot of positive energy into the situation. I do feel like that's needed. I don't know what's going on here. And ironically, because you're on the out, you may not realize either. There's something where your positive energy, you're helping get it done, taking care of certain things, bringing more, action and supporting, very much supportive. You're bringing a lot of light into the situation. You're bringing some, some relief that I feel like there's some tension here. But again, you might be a little bit blocked from that. You may not realize that there's a lot of tension around this situation. You are alleviating that more than you realize. Having a very, very, very positive effect here. The thing is, it's ironic that you're on the outside, because part of being on the outside, it's easier to be that light because you're on the outside, which I know is ironic and probably not fair. But it's one of those things where there's certain things you don't know, but if you did know some of these little nuances, it may change how you feel about the situation. Right now, you're just being that light. You're just helping people stand up. You're helping people move forward. I feel like you're helping people stand up without realizing that that's what you're doing. It reminds, because I keep seeing like this situation where somebody's putting these railings and steps up so that if people need them, they can use it. And then you like walk away, and then people are using that to help get themselves up. So you are helping people get themselves up. I just don't feel like you realize how helpful you actually are. The energy is rising in this situation. Something needs to be talked about. Are they going to bring it forward? There's changes. Something isn't quite right. There's a problem. I don't know if you sorry if you could hear that. Apparently my iPad wants to have a lot of fun sounds today. Something's going on, and somebody's unhappy with a piece of this puzzle. I don't think you realize what's going on. And they're slowly trying to show where things aren't working. They do want to share something with you. They don't want to, but they're getting to a point where it's kind of like, I have to deal with this. This is one of those people you're helping get up without realizing you're helping get up. Because I keep seeing you moving forward. I keep seeing you helping. This is not changing. You're invested in this situation. Somebody says, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do for dinner tonight. The pantry's almost empty. The store's like an hour away. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have 3 kids and they need to be fed. I'm trying to find, can anybody give me a ride to the store? You're like, I can do better than that. I have leftovers. What do you need? I got a freezer full of stuff that's just, it's all good food, but it's like, might as well go to somebody who wants it. What do you feel about leftovers? And they're like, you know what, Cancer, you're a great cook. Whatever you want to give us, we'll take. And I feel like, there you go. It's kind of like you're stepping in, you keep helping. This is like, I'm using this as an analogy, right? Somebody needs some, the family needs food. Oh, I didn't realize how low the pantry was. I have 3 kids to feed, and the store is like an hour away, or at least by the time I get there, it would take me a good hour to get there, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, hey, I'll bring you some stuff over. I feel like there's one version where you just kind of drop off the stuff and here, have a good time. I'm glad I could help. I'll get out of your way. That's one version. You don't have to do that. There might be this perceived boundary where you maybe feel like that's what you're supposed to do. There's just an option to think of it differently. Invite yourself to dinner. Like, hey, I haven't eaten either. If I bring over leftovers, can I join you for dinner and we can have the leftovers I bring over? I got a bunch. That's another version. I haven't eaten either. I'd love to have dinner with y'all. I'll bring my leftovers, and I'm more than willing to share whatever you want. Do you mind if I stay for dinner with you? Is that okay? It's a weird, it's not like a lot, but I feel like it's as simple as that. And for some reason, for a lot of you, I feel like I've maybe been taught or was given this weird invisible boundary. Like I'm being I'm being something, I'm being too much, or I'm being this, or I'm being nosy, or blah 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 blah. This is one of those moments where it's like, no, 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 this energy is like something isn't right, and that little bit of a difference, that little change, which it could open doors, it could open huge doors that you actually would benefit from. It's bringing something to you maybe sooner rather than later. Not only sooner rather than later, but you might get some more depth to the situation that may help you, and you may be able to connect and realign the situation with the deeper knowledge that you could possibly get here. You are very appreciated in whatever this is, but I get that we have to find out some more information. And you have like this friendship energy is kind of like, instead of just saying here and kind of like, okay, I know you would like to, like, this weird feeling like I should just give you what you want and just walk away, versus I'll give you what you want, but I want to be included. It's a, I don't know, I feel like it's simple. Maybe I'm saying it in a too simple way or something. And maybe it's really uncomfortable, I don't know, but I feel like that's what's gonna open these doors. Open those doors, and then we can find out what's going on. The truth will come forward that way. It will release this. Something's stagnant here. Something is stuck. Something isn't quite right. And you'll be surprised. These two cards together, this is very interesting. Something that's been blocked for quite a while that you might not even realize has been blocked is all of a sudden not only going to come to light, but then the block might be removed. We're working on that. It'll come to light, that's for sure. So, all right. You can't remove the block until you see the block, and you got to reevaluate the block before you can remove the block. So maybe I got a little bit too far, a little bit too far, too fast. You got to know what's going on first before you can just remove the block. Okay, true. So it's going to come very quickly what the block is and that it's actually there. And then, that's, okay. And then, you'll have the ability to remove the block. One more shake. Whatever this is, if it's hitting, it's important. Oh. That's not bad. Okay. The Death card, which is not bad, especially for Cancer, because sometimes it talks about Scorpio energy. Doesn't have to. And then the Seven of Swords. Now, this is one of two things. It depends on your situation. Either it's going to end it, and whatever the problem is, people are going to act like they don't know nothing, and we'll remove that block. Or, there's another version here. Another person coming in, kind of like, now that you know what's going on and you see the block and you see it in the light of day, you're like, you know what, I think we need some help with this. And you'll call in the big guns. Like, I must see, like, calling in Grandma. Like, we know Grandma will know what to do, and Grandma doesn't play favorites. So, I don't know, I keep getting this Grandma energy. It doesn't have to be a female, it can be any gender. But I just keep getting this, like, we're going to bring in the big guns, because she'll not only know what to do, she'll make sure we get it done. So, and then we'll just wipe that ridiculousness right out of the way. I don't know. I don't think it has to be brutal. That Death card, it depends what's going on here. I don't really know. Because the Scorpio energy, if there's a Scorpio coming in, it doesn't have to be, but if there's like somebody you're bringing in, they might handle it their way. They might be brutal about it, but I don't think they're going to be brutal to you. But they may be brutal to somebody else, and they may shut this whole thing down, whatever the block is. After that, it's just about securing the line and keeping it where it should be. Is this the 9? Yes, the 9 of Wands. Then it's just like keeping an eye on the problem and keeping it contained, keeping it where it belongs. Question mark. Keeping it out of the situation, keeping it out of harm's way. Where it belongs, question mark, is that depends what your problem is, I guess. It depends what the issue is, but keeping it out of harm's way, keeping certain people safe. That's the point. Okay, we're good. whatever this is, it does take, when you get to that level, you're going to be at a point where you got to do what you got to do, and you're doing the best you can with it. I get the trust card. I keep seeing the bed there, kind of like there's no perfect in this situation. That doesn't exist. There's just doing the best you can, and you are doing the best you can. All right. I'm going to shut that down there. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.